What is up, everybody? Today will be the weekly outlook for the last week of July 27th to July 31st. And in this video, I'm going to be going over very quickly, right, what news we have, what earnings we have, and what steps we should look for coming into next week, right? So, just very straightforward video. So, let's get into the video. So, Monday, no news. Tuesday, orange floor news. Wednesday, we have FOMC. So, guys, we're not taking a trade on Wednesday. I'm not taking a trade personally, right? If you want to lose money, be my guest. But Wednesday's gonna be a very, very low probability day, right? We have important earnings, which I'll talk about. But Wednesday we have FOMC and important earnings after hours. So literally the lowest probability day possible in this entire month of trade. So Wednesday, no trade for sure. And Thursday, I have red floor news. And then Friday, I have orange floor news. So for sure, a little bit more news we have this week. So that's good. But now let's get into earnings. That's the most important thing, right? So we have important earnings on Wednesday after hours and Thursday after hours, right? So on Wednesday, we have Microsoft and Meta. And for me, Robinhood. And then on Thursday, we have Apple and Amazon earnings after hours. So that's going to be important as well, right? So there's also other bunch of names I'm also kind of interested in looking at to see what their important earnings are, right? For me, Reddit is going to be important. TE is going to be important, right? Qualcomm is going to be important. And maybe BM is going to be important as well for energy sector, right? Otherwise, the Max 7 is going to be the biggest names for sure, right? That's going to actually move the market, you know? Maybe SoFi earnings also going to be pretty important as well. So these two stocks should be very important for those brokerage companies. But yeah, otherwise, come into this week, understand that, you know what, Monday is going to be a slower day, no news Monday. Tuesday, we can take a trade. We can expect, maybe some volatility. Wednesday, nope, not worth it. Just gonna be low price, low volume, right? Because everyone's gonna be waiting for news. Thursday, expect more volume. Friday, expect more volume as well, right? Kind of very straightforward. Hopefully, Trump doesn't do anything crazy, insane news events. But yeah, now let's go into some names we can keep out for, right? So there are not a lot of names, to be honest, that look decent in the higher time frame. I'm gonna just be talking about two names, right? Because everything else is pretty much in chop, and we have to really see come into Monday if we gap up or gap down or where we really open up. Right? Otherwise, there's on a higher time frame alone, right? Two names kind of stand out to me, right? And that is going to be number one is going to be Tesla, right? Clearly, Tesla looking very bearish. So what we're going to do, we're going to play with the trend, right? So we're going to look for clearly Tesla short is playing with a weakness, right? So Tesla, that main objective is going to be at 300 whole psychological number. So if Tesla can open beneath our previously low level, right, then expect to short this name down to at 300. But in my opinion, I would keep an eye out this name, right? Because this name can technically still consolidate because we did have a very big move or have a dead cat bounce. So yeah, again, keep the name on your main watch. Tesla, we can actually, if this name does kind of gap down, we can look to kind of play a break and retest of this 300. It is potential, right? If the name go down, QQ Spy look bearish. That is a potential break retest we can look to play on Tesla. So yeah, that's gonna be one of the main watches I have coming this week. And then the second name we can keep an eye out for is going to be Apple, right? Apple, what is happening here, right? Clearly very bullish, near all-time highs. Let's see, it's possible for us to gap up coming to this Monday at all-time high. So if we do, then we can play this momentum to just all-time highs, right? So this name clearly looking very bullish on the higher time frame, right? Very, very strong buy stepping up, especially on Friday. Very strong candle, nice momentum. So this name is beyond main watch as well. So yeah, let me mark out pretty much this right here, and then this all-time high. So we can look to play this breaking just at all-time highs level. So this. Oh shit, that looks horrible. But yeah, you guys kind of get the memo, right? We want to pretty much see the reaction on the all-time highs level, and then we can play with that trend, right? So otherwise, besides these two names, nothing else looks good. I'm gonna be straight up honest, right? Everything else is just choppiness, and we'll just move a QQ and SPY, right? There's really no higher time frame, relative weakness, or relative strength on the rest of tech names, right? We're just looking to see where we open up on names, if we gap up, gap down, right? Actually, what's happening on Meta? I didn't really check Meta, right? This name I'd avoid to trade. Damn, okay. Well, Meta has earnings, so this name is clearly very bearish, right? So let's see if buyers step up briefly at 600 level. Otherwise, I would look to avoid Meta just because I just don't like trading this name. The spreads on options, right? So the spreads on these names are pretty big. So when you do take a loss, it's usually a bigger loss, especially with zero day expiration contracts, right? So you have to understand how to size properly if you trade Meta, right? You cannot be a beginner trader trading Meta. Otherwise, your losses will be so fucking big. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, that is pretty much the video, right? 4 minutes long. We went over earnings, news, and two setups I'm looking at coming into this week. The two most obvious setups. Otherwise, every other name is in chop, and it just depends on QQ and SPY. It depends on QQ and SPY. It depends on if memory does not get annihilated. It depends on if the Korean markets, gap down like 10%. We're in a crazy market, guys. And the best you can do, no matter what market you're in, no matter what you do, is just play with the trend and be patient. It's that simple, right? So if you guys did not watch my trade recap from yesterday's trade, make sure to watch that because I did kind of go in depth on pretty much what the market has been doing, also the trade I took yesterday. But yeah, that is pretty much the weekly outlook, right? Very straightforward. FOMC is the biggest news event here, so do not expect a trade on that day. If you are looking to trade on Wednesday, then good luck. But yeah, that's pretty much the weekly outlook. Do not forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Otherwise, peace.